You know, being the good guy in Grand RP can be fun for a while until you start to get bored with just fixing stuff and doing jobs for other people. At some point in their career, pretty much everyone who's ever played Grand RP has definitely wondered about where all the illegal stuff happens in the city. After all, it may be roleplay, but it's still a Grand Theft Auto server, and that means there should be plenty of robberies, heists, gang wars, and illicit substance use to keep you busy and to help you make the big bucks that you simply cannot get through the legal jobs on the server. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're right, because there are indeed tons of ways to make money through crime in Grand RP, and the only mistake that you can commit is getting caught in the act. So if you're ready to step onto the dark side of the law, join me today as I guide you through the steps that you must follow to rob houses, cars, stores, and everything else that you can think of. But first, if you haven't joined Grand RP already, make sure to sign up using my link in the description or the pinned comment. Just visit the official website by clicking on my link, enter your email, name, and password, and download the launcher. That's all you need to play Grand RP for free. And the reason you should sign up using my link is that you'll get some exclusive prizes at the start to boost your chances of survival in Grand City. Plus, you'll also get to choose from 3 limited time luxury sedans that are yours to keep for a whole week. I recommend playing on English server number 1 because over on there, you can join my Grand RP family, which is called the Hazard Gang, and this will give you access to the family house, as well as some free cars, both of which are very helpful for any new player. Alright then. It's time to finally get into the juicy details of how you can actually start doing criminal activities in Grand RP, because this isn't GTA Online. You can't necessarily just run up to someone, punch them in the face, and press F to jack their ride. You need to understand green zones, where it's permitted to steal cars, and how to get yourself the right equipment to steal said cars. You'll also need specialized equipment to steal some stuff from houses and stores, and there's a very specific place where you can buy all of that equipment. And that place is the darknet. It's a hidden criminal network designed for those who like to play on the dark side of the law, away from prying eyes, and funny enough, pretty much anyone can access the darknet just by opening up their phone and clicking on the app. In here, you can buy lockpicks, hacker tools, scanners for your vehicles, and yes, you can even order hit jobs on someone that you don't like very much. You're gonna have to pay a lot of money in order to put a hit on someone, so don't just go around ordering murders on your phone because that's a sure shot way to empty your bank account within a couple of days. Instead, try signing up as a hitman yourself. You'll only get a fraction of the total cut, but it's better to make money by doing simple hit and runs than it is to waste money on killing someone, especially when you know they'll just respawn in a few minutes anyway. Next, we've got the illegal market or the black market, where you can buy all sorts of illicit goods like ingredients for making banned substances, forged documents, licenses, etc. You can even buy raw materials to print your own counterfeit cash if you want, and the only thing limiting how much stuff you can purchase is the size of your wallet. However, my favorite section of the darknet is this one right here. Assignments. It's similar to office tasks, only these are for illegal activities, like making the cops chase you for a certain amount of time, planting some of Snoop Dogg's favorite grass, transporting smuggled goods around the city, you name it. You can do basically any job you like, and the reward is usually 10,000 per job on average. Some of these are extremely easy, like robbing someone or winning a territory scuffle between gangs where you just have to show up to the fight and shoot a few rounds from your gun, and you get a decent paycheck at the end of the day for your troubles. So if you're new to crime stuff, definitely start with the assignments section in the darknet app on your cell phone. It's the easiest way to make lots of money from the start. And then once you've upgraded your criminal status, once you've gained some street cred, it's time for the most lucrative criminal activity of them all, and that is car theft. Depending on the type of car you steal and your skill level, you can easily make upwards of $200,000 or $300,000 a day in Grand RP. I've even heard stories of folks making $1 million a day, but that probably involves 8 to 10 hours of grinding, so not necessarily feasible for most players. Although just a year ago, you couldn't rob cars unless you were a gang member, but now that requirement has been lifted, and all you need is a face tattoo to become eligible for car robberies. Then you're also going to need the car thief skill, which can be purchased for $1.5 million. This is a significant investment, but you should have more than enough money after grinding for a few weeks, so go ahead and unlock this skill. Once you have the car thief skill, you can level it up to stage 3 by stealing a few cars, and once you're at max skill, that's when you can make the most amount of money per stolen vehicle. You'll also need a level 3 vehicle scanner from the illegal market, which costs $50,000, and what this does is find the location of a car that you can steal, because in Grand RP, you can't just walk up to any random car and break in. That's a one-way trip to jail, or worse, grounds for a permaban. I know it's a GTA server and all, but you'll have to follow the roleplay rules here. As a quick side note, there's a level 4 scanner as well, and this is even better than the level 3 scanner that you can buy on the darknet. And you can actually craft this level 4 scanner yourself by combining a level 1, a level 2, and a level 3 scanner with a virus USB stick and tracking sensor. Lastly, to get inside the car and hotwire it, you're going to need a lockpick. So let's run through the whole process once again. First, you get yourself a face tattoo. Step 2, you go onto the darknet and look up vehicle requests. Step 3, you use your vehicle scanner to search the map for cars that match your client's requests. Lastly, for step 4, you're going to use your lockpick to break into the marked car, and then you simply drive away with your prize. Also, this kind of goes without saying here, but please don't get spotted by the owner while you're jacking his ride. Otherwise, it's going to be very embarrassing for you, and he might call the cops, which is then going to turn the whole thing into a giant crapshoot. Now, you can definitely do all of this solo. However, I recommend being a gang member anyways, or at least a part of an unofficial family to start these vehicle theft requests if you want the highest chances of success, because sometimes the vehicle owner might just pull up on you with his buddies, and who knows what kind of firepower those boys are packing. So if you want to be on the safe side while robbing some of the more exotic vehicles in the game, just bring a couple of friends of your own and you'll probably be good to go. Next, let's talk about home and store robberies. And just like with car robberies, we're going to need some prep work before we bust in and start stealing stuff. Start by going into a nearby convenience store and buying a crowbar. These are really cheap, like 1,500 bucks each cheap, so buy 2 or 3 of them, as you're going to need some extra crowbars to pry open those locked doors. Then you're obviously going to need some kind of personal vehicle, and I recommend one with lots of trunk space, because the more trunk space you have, the more stolen goods you can carry out of that house. Also, keep your backpack inventory maxed out. Remove all unnecessary items. All you really need is a weapon, some spare ammo, and a license. That's about it. As a quick side note too, if you're thinking about upgrading to a level 4 backpack, it's really not necessary anymore. Level 1 will do just fine. However, you do need to pay attention to 2 things in particular here. First is the level of a house. For instance, as a beginner, you'll only be able to rob houses that are ranked 1 star. And as you climb up the ranks yourself, your ability to rob houses of higher rank will also go up, and you'll eventually be able to even rob 4 or 5 star residences. The second key fact that you want to keep in mind is that you cannot rob houses under insurance. So pray that the owner has forgotten to pay his insurance money, because otherwise you'll get the big ol' cannot be robbed warning when you try and break in. Once you do find a house with no insurance, that's also the correct level for your character. You can break in by playing a simple timing minigame where you crack open the lock and then you're handed a little timer as well as a yellow zone. Stay inside that yellow zone while the timer runs out, and then you can just walk into the house and grab all the loot. Loot type and quantity is randomized, and you'll usually get some TVs, some furniture, and some boxes full of random valuables. Once you have all your loot, stash it in your car trunk, rob a few more houses if you have the time, and then take all of your loot straight to the black market. Here, at the black market, you can actually sell it for a decent bit of profit. You can't sell it at the beach market. It has to be the black market, because that's the only place that accepts stolen goods. Store robberies function very much the same, except for some added action, because now you can get interrupted in the middle of your store robbery by the cops, and that's why it's recommended to bring the family along with you, so you all can take up your positions in surrounding buildings and provide supporting fire for each other as the cops continue to pour in with their squad cars to secure the perimeter around the shop. You can also take hostages if you want to negotiate your terms of escape with the cops, and you can even rob gun stores, which contain some rather high value loot that you will simply not find in your regular 24/7 convenience stores. Alright, now that you know all about robberies, let's talk gangs for a minute. What they are, how to join them, all that good stuff. So basically here, gangs in Grand RP are no different from gangs in GTA games. They're full of mean-looking dudes who dress in gang colors and carry serious firepower. They ride around in cars, and all of them control their own territories with a boss man at the head of each gang who hands out all the orders. Pretty basic stuff, and you too can join up as a gang member if you know how gangs operate and what the rules are to be a part of the ghetto. By the way, these rules are literally spelled out in the forums and on the Discord, so go ahead and give them a good read through before you head out for a gang interview yourself, because they're going to ask you questions in the RP chat, and you'll have to provide the correct answers if you want to succeed in your interview. For example, there's something called the 51% rule, which states that no matter what outfit you wear, at least 51% of it should be gang colors if you're going to represent the gang. You also cannot just waltz into the HQ of a rival gang unless you have permission from their leader, and if you get caught doing some illegal activity, you can't bring the cops to your own HQ. You have to lose the heat first, and then spend at least 15 minutes driving around the map before you return to your HQ. There are 5 gangs in total: the Families, Ballas, Vagos, Bloods, and Marabunta Grande. And you'll have to pick which one you like the most based on how much territory they control and how active they are in your particular server. As a gang member, you can do heists, robberies, raids, turf wars, drug battles, and more, so being in a gang is definitely a must if you're gonna live life as a criminal in Grand RP. But there's another more discreet way, I guess, to be a bad guy, and it's by assuming the position of a corrupt cop within the server. This is really exciting, and you'll need to be an experienced role player for this one, because technically you're not breaking the rules outright, you're just operating in the gray zone. And step 1 is constructing a profile for your corrupt cop character. Explain who you are, why you're doing the things that you're doing, and submit this profile to the forum for review. The senior curator for the state will review this corrupt cop bio of yours, and if it looks acceptable, you'll be allowed some extra extrajudicial powers, like the ability to accept bribes in exchange for letting criminals go. Or you can even plant fake evidence and arrest someone you don't like. You can execute people with minimal warning, you can provide tips on police raids to criminal organizations, and you can even smuggle weapons or wipe someone's criminal record in exchange for lots of money. The sky's the limit as a corrupt cop, and it's one of the most fun ways out there to play Grand RP. But you're gonna need a convincing bio for one, and there's also a limit on how many corrupt cops there can be in a server at the same time, so also keep that in mind before you apply for this position. Anyways, that's it for my Grand RP criminal activity guide. I had a lot of fun making this video, and I hope that you guys learned something from it, because most people think that mindless grinding, as well as monotonous jobs, are the only ways to get rich in Grand RP, but that's simply not true at all. As you can see, there are lots of criminal activities that you can do. Assassinations, robberies, gang wars. There's so much stuff. Honestly, you can even be a corrupt cop if you want and take money from the criminals and the government at the same time, which I think is hilarious and awesome. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to drop a like on it if you found it informative. Consider subscribing to the channel if you are new. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next Grand RP video. Adios, amigos.